Hola.
¿Cómo estás?
This is Walkaway Studios, Pit of a Thousand Wonders. I'm Daniel Vaughn, presenting today, and with my associate Nathan Hayes and Lucas S.
Oh yeah, we still have to guess his name. Lucas, you have to add one more letter to your
The
name.
second letter is
It's just Singer. Okay. Anyway,
No. We did.
Well, okay, maybe next episode, no one will have seen the show behind, like, episode 1 or 2, so maybe we can still do this.
I agree.
we don't have fans anyway, so.
Yeah.
No, we got a whole 11 people watching our last video.
Oh, sweet.
Those 11 people are dedicated. They're lifelong.
You know, I got us a subscriber the other day.
Did you actually?
I did. I actually coerced him to subscribe to our channel, and he has not unsubscribed since. So,
Pretty great.
shout out to Kellen out there. You know, it's
So, we got 11 dedicated fans, and we got a subscriber on top of that. I think we made great progress.
we've got a future. We've got a future.
We got a future. We better, because this is supposed to support me and my family. So.
Oh, I don't
I'm supposed
think.
to make tons of money off this. Nathan, I'm still waiting on my paycheck.
I'm gonna be in big trouble if this doesn't get me at least $1,000.
Have you like taken money from the Yakuza or something? That's the Japanese mafia.
You're a Japanese mafia.
Yeah.
No, I'm actually not an affiliate of any crime syndicate. So,
Who would have thought?
no.
Could have fooled me.
Yeah, I wish I looked that hard. Seriously, that'd be kind of nice. People would leave me alone. Like,
Yeah.
oh, that guy looks like he could hurt you pretty bad, dude. Like, leave him alone. Steer clear of that guy. You know,
Yeah.
that'd be nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Dan, you want to tell everyone what the topic was? Because
Yeah.
we're gonna be so off topic.
So today,
Great.
our topic today, the topic today.
Today.
The topic today, the topic is Superman versus, or Spider-Man, or neither.
How about Spider-Man?
Shut up.
I
So-
vote neither.
I vote Superman.
Oh.
Hmm.
Well, guess
Well,
we're
that's a mistake.
So, I'll beat you. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about the future of superheroes and where it's going. And, yeah, and if
We're
it...
also going to talk about like a hypothetical Spider-Man versus Superman, because Spider-Man would win that.
Don't even start that, Lucas. because it's canon now that Batman has killed Superman before. So
Yeah.
and if Batman can do it, that means Spider-Man.
No, but Batman's even better than any superhero. Batman took down the entire Justice League by himself.
Right. And
Spider-Man-
Spider-Man is Marvel. So Lucas, let me put this.
I like it.
Let me put you in perspective, Lucas. Okay, you need to sit.
I'm all about perspective.
Okay, now you better be, because this is going to be something for you. The Justice League, DC heroes, are far more fantastical, I should say, than Marvel. Marvel is more, like, as far as superheroes can go, it's probably the most realistic of the two. Okay, you have the government intervening with, the livelihoods and, the
No, because you have the exact same thing with the Justice League.
When did any Earth government tell the Justice League you can't do this?
Oh my God, so many times they've gotten mad at them. Where
Well,
the
mad.
Justice League and the government fight all the time. They hate each other.
Really?
Like, they have a huge problem with the Justice League having a giant space station in the sky that has a cannon on the end of it.
Oh.
Every government, like, they are involved. There is more involvement of the Justice League and the government than there is Marvel and the government.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe I'm wrong about that, but you can't deny that, like, DC superheroes are far more powerful than Marvel superheroes.
Well, I mean,
because
it's really hard. Because, like, clearly Superman, well, yes, but that's just one out of the many.
And Batman killed Superman, so that's 2.
No, because I mean, Batman's just a normal guy, though. He's just very smart.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
he is the ultimate soldier.
Yeah.
That's real tough, I'll tell you what.
That's real what?
That's a real tough question, because, like, I don't know.
Not really, because Spider-Man's
You
terrible.
can go on and on about, like, the rock, paper, scissors effect, like, Superman's all-powerful, but Batman's, like,
The most
knows
cunning.
all his weaknesses so can beat him, but that doesn't make Batman superior to Superman in like, terms of power. He just knows what to do.
Well, a lot of people.
Knowledge is power, though. Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
Okay, well, right, but I wouldn't
we're not
say
saying
that
that
makes him
Superman is
overpowered.
He's certainly not as smart as Bruce Wayne, though.
No, because Bruce Wayne's he's got a lot of skill in detective work. And I mean, you could say that like a lot of people say, oh, the Marvel has more heroes that don't actually have superpowers, which is actually, I would say DC has more heroes that don't have characters that don't have superpowers, because you even got Green Arrow, like even a lot of, like if you look a lot about DC and Marvel, you see a lot of the same characters going back and forth, like Thor and Wonder Woman, both gods, and both come from a different like realm. And you got Green Arrow and then Hawkeye.
Right.
Pretty much the exact same thing. They're both like really good at archery and fighting.
Right.
So that leaves an obvious question in the middle of the room. Who's the DC Captain America? Who represents the best country on Earth in DC?
I would say Batman comes closest, but
No, Superman does.
Actually, I'm going to say Superman too, because
I guess I didn't know if you meant in terms of like
character.
Yeah,
I actually did mean
that.
I meant that question in character.
Oh,
but,
well then yeah, of course Superman.
Yeah, but then I'm thinking like maybe ideals. I'm also still thinking Superman.
I agree. I thought you just meant like a matchup.
Oh, okay. If we're talking matchup, I'd say, yeah, I think Batman's probably the best bet for a matchup.
Right.
To be even in any sense, though it wouldn't.
Well, you also got to look at this. Like you see that big poster of like the Marvel heroes, and you see like a ton of heroes, right?
Yeah.
But if you were to do that of the Justice League, you wouldn't be able to like capture that on an entire poster.
Maybe if they were microscopic.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe. I mean, okay. Now, don't get me wrong. There is truth to the saying, quantity has a quality all of its own. But is that true here? Like, is that really the case for DC?
I don't know, because I mean, you're asking like, I mean, because there's a lot of the same like qualities between each of them. I mean, the quantity between each of them like are pretty big difference. But like, I think if you look at the original DC 7, which is Superman, Wonder Woman, John Jones, The Martian, The Flash, Hawkgirl, Green Lantern, and who's the 7th one? Batman.
Right.
If you look at those, and then you look at the like first Avengers, I mean, it's a pretty close call between the both of them.
Right. Yeah.
Are you sure though? Like,
well, maybe not exactly, but yeah, close.
I mean, I still think DC would. Don't get me wrong. I prefer Marvel. I like Marvel better, but I still think DC would win a fight like that. Even the original 7.
Yeah, I think DC probably would, because I mean they just got so much power behind them, because you got Superman. I mean Marvel, the original Avengers got the Hulk.
Yeah, but
Thor, but that's about it. But
yeah, and you know,
Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman.
Yeah, I mean the Justice League. The Justice League has a superhero who only needs to use his imagination.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, and
There's so many characters in the Avengers that wouldn't do anything in that fight. Like Captain
Yeah.
America, oh boy,
What do you mean?
he's gonna make a huge dent.
Yeah, and I mean, in
Hawkeye
DC,
is gonna make a huge dent.
yeah, I mean, I think Hawkeye could do anything, but I mean, you also got to think about they have. I mean, Justice League also has the Flash, which is like another huge character.
Yeah, I remember an episode of like the Justice League back in the old days when Cartoon Network was like good.
Yeah.
I remember an episode of that where he stopped time because he was going so fast he couldn't stop going fast, so
Yeah.
he was walking around in a world that had stopped moving to him. So
Yeah.
so it was kind of like that whole relativism like
Yes.
time thing. So like everyone else would be not seeing him because he's too fast, but he's seeing everything at the same time, kind of.
No.
Well, I mean, you also got a lot of different Flashes, and like Flash has even gone so fast it shot him back in time.
Okay.
If you wanted to, you could make Flash like the most broken character besides Superman if you took everything into account, like all the things he's done.
Broken? Like canon wise?
Overpowered.
Oh. Okay.
But you do have the Flash equivalent on the Marvel team, which was in Age of Ultron, which was Quicksilver.
Not the Silver Surfer?
Quicksilver.
Who's Quicksilver?
I don't know almost anything about Quicksilver.
Yeah.
Quicksilver. He was in the new X-Men movie, but they didn't use that character. But he's also in this new Marvel Avengers movie. He's really fast. I'm not sure he'd be as fast as like the Flash.
I mean, yeah, almost no one apparently comes close to the Flash in speed.
Well, there's also been like 4 Flashes too, like different
Right.
Flashes. Like there's Barry Allen, Wally West, and I mean they're all kind of different.
Is Quicksilver an ally of Hawkeye?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't want to say anything about it.
Yeah, no, you should.
Okay.
I mean, you'll just wait and see till you see the Avengers movie.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I guess I'll have to. I haven't seen it yet, so.
I mean, the new Avengers movie, it was good and all, but I mean, I didn't really care for it too much. It was just another filler arc,
Oh, okay.
which was upsetting because I mean, clearly we all know Thanos comes next.
No, Civil War comes next, dude.
It's Captain America movie.
But yeah, it's Civil War though.
But that's just a Captain America movie though.
But it is a very important one because it will
Yeah, but
involve most of the Avengers.
But it's
If
not.
it is the Civil War.
Yeah, I know, but it's not an Avengers movie.
Right, but it does. It should include all of them, at least most of them. Otherwise, it wouldn't be proper.
Right, but it doesn't feel like a successor to the original Avengers. In a sense, if it's not, if it's
These
just
movies
more.
have always bled over into each other, so I'm disagreeing with you there.
Well, it's gonna bleed over because in the comics, Captain America is supposed to die in the Civil War.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he dies. He's
and that's
shot
where-
on the steps of the Supreme
Like
Court.
permadeath?
Yeah, permadeath.
And Bucky Barnes takes his place as Captain America.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if they're gonna kill
That
him.
blows my mind.
Say that again?
That
Me?
No, Lucas, I didn't hear you.
I just said that blows my mind.
Really? You didn't know that?
Yeah, Captain America out of all superheroes had a permadeath this early on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Iron Man dies. No, Iron Man still lives. Most of them die at Thanos, which is the third.
Yeah, no, I
Avengers movie.
thought the only person that actually lives after the Thanos arc in the comic books was Silver Surfer, who killed him.
Silver Surfer.
Yeah, I thought he beat Thanos. Is that right?
Not really.
Um,
Not really. I don't remember who did. It was kind of just the Avengers. I mean, they almost pretty much all died, and the only like survivors were like I think the Hulk survives, and Thor survives.
Well,
Maybe
of
Iron Man.
course,
That's it.
Hulk and Thor would survive.
And then we come out with the new Avengers, which they haven't confirmed yet. I mean, they've only confirmed 3 Avengers movies, and
Hmm.
I think we're supposed to be seeing Spider-Man somewhere in one of these movies
We better not.
Oh,
We
I'd
better
be so
not.
happy with that.
because
No.
he plays a big part in the new Avengers.
He might, but I don't want him to.
No, but I do. He's like my favorite superhero.
Well, you're misguided.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You, you sure?
Yes, you. I'm sure.
Spider-Man's real great.
No, he's not.
What?
Dude,
I like Spider-Man.
no.
I'm a huge fan of
I
Spider-Man.
know you are, and I don't understand it because he's the okay. You know, like everyone in okay. Let me set this for you. High school is the reason I don't like Spider-Man. Okay, not a person in high school, not a teacher from high school. High school, generally speaking, makes me hate Spider-Man. Okay, and hear me out on this.
Okay.
It's all the thing I hated the most, besides the drama and just the stress of it all, because we all know how hard a time of high school I had with it. Um,
So, yeah, what a time.
what a time to be alive! But
Yeah.
the thing is, out of all the things you could possibly list hating from high school, I hated angsty teenagers. Like I don't know about you, but I felt like we were a little bit more mature than the rest of the ass hats around us. Did you ever feel like that? Because I
Towards
did.
the end, I guess.
Because
I
I
mean,
go
Well, I
down.
don't know. It really depends. I was
Okay, well, okay, maybe it's just my inflated self of self worth, or my egotistical
no,
like
I get what you're saying, but it also depends on.
yeah, I
There's
hated
such a
how
broad.
angsty everybody was. Like, I mean, don't
Yeah,
don't
in
get me
terms of
wrong.
that, I would agree.
I mean, I had my own moments where I was just like so depressed and so overwhelmed, but I never let it consume me to the point where it was like all that I could think about. Now, I
um,
like to moan, piss, and groan about it, but that's as far as it usually went.
Right.
And that's exactly why I don't like Spider-Man, because he is so relatable to that crowd of people. You're right. We talked about this back in the day. Spider-Man relates to people because most teenagers feel like Spider-Man. And that's not a coincidence. He's made that way.
yeah, I mean,
He,
he's just a
Well,
nerd that became something.
yeah,
he,
no, that's the main reason I like Spider-Man so much is because there's so much humanism involved with him and his story and what he goes through, right? Like,
I like
there's
him
almost
because
like you can say that about every superhero, and it's not necessary. I'm not necessarily trying to say that Spider-Man does it best,
mm-hmm.
but the way it is done in Spider-Man and how it's presented is different from every other superhero, and I just enjoyed it and related and got a lot more out of it than how any other superhero did it. Because every superhero comic or show has like the two sides of like the actiony superhero side and the humanistic problems they go through with being a superhero and their secret identity life.
Mm-hmm.
And I just loved the side of Spider-Man of how
yeah, I
he
like
like
the story.
never went how he never could he had trouble with college, he had trouble with girlfriends, he had
Ugh.
trouble with his anxiety, he had trouble with all parts of life.
Oh, it just
Yeah.
reminds me of my life. It's so
So,
much. I don't need his problems on top of my own.
so
No, but yeah, it wasn't about just like being pessimistic and being like life is terrible. It showed how he got like how he progressed and went through them and what he did and how he still stayed a strong superhero through it all.
I mean, maybe I don't like Spider-Man because it would depress me to hell in a handbasket, but
No, it depends how you take away from it because
oh no, trust me, I would be the guy to take it that way.
well then
'Cause-
probably for me it, like had the opposite effect just seeing how he was able to get through it all.
see,
My
I kind of maybe it's just me being as screwed up as I am, but I prefer superheroes who like see the darkness and they let it consume them, and it makes them more powerful, and they because they understand the real problem and then they solve it, but that doesn't make
you like
them like
you
it
like
doesn't bring
you
them
like
into
the
the
Batman.
light.
yeah, no, that's completely different than Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Definitely,
So
I love that too.
so Nathan, you like the Batman aspect of it.
Kind of, almost like Batman. Maybe like
Almost, maybe more like anti-heroes or like Batman or somewhere in between that.
Well,
yeah,
because Batman is pretty much that aspect because he had a fear. His parents were killed,
yeah.
and he
Yeah.
used his fear to put fear in the people he was like that. He put fear in the bad people. Like
And let's be honest,
he uses the
actually-
Batman symbol to put fear in the people.
And let's be honest, Batman is a criminal. He's a vigilante. He
Yeah.
can't do that. So, yeah, definitely a anti-hero.
My favorite parts about Batman has always been when he was like always talking about like the deeper things of life, or he was seeing both sides, or he like
Mm-hmm.
he was talking about like telling people to lie about who really died in like with Harvey,
Mm-hmm.
like how he does that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember someone telling me there was a comic arc where he and the Joker like fall into like the pit of like insanity or something like that, and like what happens is the Batman finds the Joker, right, and he brings him out of the pit, but then as they emerge from the pit, Batman has become criminally insane, and the Joker is now like this very thought-provoking kind of like realist, and Batman trips and falls back into the pit, and the Joker's like, oh well, I guess I'll have to go get him then, and he goes back down and he comes back up with Batman and himself back to their original states. Batman being the good guy and Joker being insane again.
Batman has I love his like story. Yeah. I mean, even with the whole like Robin arc, like even with the whole like Robins and sidekicks and like trilogies of him, like first you have the first Robin who went on to become Nightwing, then you have the second Robin who I think that's the one that was Jason Todd and was killed by the Joker and then became the Red Hood. Then you got Tim Drake, and then you got his son. What's his name? It's his son. Batman had a son, something Wayne, that became Robin. Oh, Tim Drake became Red Robin, and then his son became Robin, and then there was a girl Robin, and then you go on to Batman Beyond, where the government like thought, oh, we can't live in a world without Batman. Well, it was more Cadmus Labs, and they were like, we can't live in a world without Batman, so they took someone's DNA of their child, and before it was born, they mixed Batman's DNA into it, and that kid became Batman Beyond.
Yeah, I think I remember that one. The cartoon show.
Yeah.
Now, was that also Yeah, I remember that one a little. Okay. You know what I do like, however, a lot with superheroes?
What?
I love it when sidekicks become their own protagonist.
Yeah.
Like I love how Robin is a cop. Or okay, in some versions he's a cop, sometimes he's not. Well, anyway, I love how in one iteration he's a cop, and then he becomes, Batman's, apprentice, vigilante as Robin. Robin then kind of goes his own separate path, off the beaten trail. Teen Titans happens, and then later, in the future, he becomes Nightwing. He's touched so many.
That wasn't the Teen Titan Robin though.
Oh, it wasn't?
Teen Titan Robin was Tim Drake.
Why don't they keep the same character?
Okay, so you have Dick Grayson was the first Robin ever. Right. His parents were murdered by, I think, Two-Face out of Circus. They were trapeze artists. And then Batman, Bruce Wayne took in Dick Grayson, and he taught him, and he became Robin, then he became Nightwing because him and Batman never got along. So then Batman took up a new student named Jason Todd. And Jason Todd was one of his all-time favorite Robins. Like Batman, just like he thought he was gonna be like the next Batman. That's when the Joker killed Jason Todd.
Oh yeah.
And then Jason Todd was resurrected by Ra's al Ghul's resurrection pool. But he didn't really come out the same. He came out kind of like mentally insane and became the Red Hood. And then you have Tim Drake, who became Robin and then became Red Robin, and he was the Teen Titan Robin. And then you have Damian Wayne, which is Bruce Wayne's son, who became the Robin after Tim Drake.
Well, okay. Here's the thing, though. The thing about the Teen Titan Robin is he became Nightwing in one of the shows. Is that not canon?
Probably not.
Oh, okay. Well, that sucks.
Well, that sucks.
What? It does, though, you know?
But so I think the future for like, so we see all these Marvel movies coming out. We have Ant-Man and all that stuff, and DC has been like trying to catch up, and they haven't been doing well. But now we're coming out with like Superman versus Batman.
Well, okay, you got to remember they've got a lot of TV shows going on right now.
Yeah, and I think it's really good because we're introducing a lot. We even got the Suicide Squad coming out, and that's huge.
Who's the Suicide Squad?
So the Suicide Squad is made up of a bunch of like criminals almost. It's got Harley Quinn. It's got Death. It's got what's his name? Deadshot. We got a ton of like villains. You got Boomerang Man or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You got
Boomerang Man?
I forget his name. It's like Boomerang something.
Oh, I was really hoping that was his official name.
Yeah. No, it's I forget. I saw a post on it on Facebook. So you got all these characters. It's a huge movie because Suicide Squad is awesome. Like I love the Suicide Squad, and so right now I'm having a good feeling with how this DC is coming out because a lot of people don't have faith in the new Batman versus Superman movie.
I certainly don't right now because okay, that part in the trailer where Batman's eyes glow, like how the mask is like a helmet. I hate that. It looks so dumb.
I don't know.
Of all the things in a superhero movie, I feel like that shouldn't be that big of a deal.
It is.
Well, I mean, it is a really big deal.
You're right, though.
But this is the point in time where like Superman like is kind of like, I mean, the world is turning against Superman. And nobody's trusting him anymore. And this is that point in time where Batman kind of takes him down. And Batman's got like this, I mean, Batman has all different kinds of like crazy like armored suits.
Yeah.
Like in the comics, he has all these crazy armored suits, and this is like kind of one of them I think they're bringing out. And it's just something, I mean, you can't really just throw Batman in his regular suit up against Superman because it's a little like, you know.
He'll die.
Is it made of Krypton?
And just the introducing of that suit is kind of a cool thing. I mean, it's kind of this new metal suit, and I'm kind of excited to see what they do with it.
Yeah.
And I have faith in this new movie because I love the guy that plays Superman, and I like Ben Affleck. And where they're taking this story is going to be very interesting. And I think a lot of people don't have faith in it because a lot of people have seen how much they failed in the past, where they've been working extremely hard on this. Like they've been putting so much goddamn effort into this.
I think
and introducing everything else.
Yeah, I think a lot of people lost faith.
Go ahead.
Along the line, right? I don't know. This clearly looks like they put more work into it.
Lucas, you've got a lot of feedback coming in. You got to fix that, bro.
No, that's not. There's.
It's you.
Ow.
Dan, are you using headphones?
No.
You should.
Oh.
Oh, can you not hear me?
No, we can, but we're getting feedback from Lucas somewhere.
Should I use headphones?
Yes, you should, Lucas. That's the problem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
here's the thing.
Hmm.
Okay, we got the superhero shows coming out. They're not going to use a lot of the stories from the superhero shows, I don't think, because they definitely are casting the guy from Arrow as Green Arrow
Okay.
for the Justice League movie.
That would make sense.
And they're using a lot of the people from the Arrow because Arrow is introducing a lot of people. They introduced the Atom, which is a huge guy. He's basically the equivalent to Ant-Man, but better, I think. A lot better. It's not some guy like controlling a bunch of ants and can make himself shrink. He also can like fly, and he's got like special like beams or whatever. He's kind of like an Iron Man that can make himself small, essentially.
Okay.
And then you got the Suicide Squad, which is a big deal because Suicide Squad is also introducing the Joker, the new Joker, because they're bringing in a new Joker. I don't know if you guys have seen like the new Joker yet, but it's gonna be really interesting to see what happens with it, because
Yeah.
I think I think this is heading towards something big. Like, I think DC is heading towards something big, and I believe
I agree. I think they have a lot of plans.
they're gonna make Marvel hurt. They're
Really?
gonna hit. I think so.
Are you sure? Do you think they're gonna go that far? Because
I think they're gonna do amazing, honestly.
well, I agree, but to be able to
Hurt
crush
Marvel.
the lead that Marvel has right now, that they would have to do outstanding.
Yeah.
I think they can. I think they can do it because right now today they sent out a picture of the Suicide Squad,
Yeah.
and the Suicide Squad is going to be huge. You got Slipknot in the Suicide Squad. You got Captain Boomerang. You got Enchantress. You got Cantana. You got Rick Flag. You got Harley Quinn. You got Deadshot. You got Killer Croc, and you got El Diablo.
So wait a minute. Like, what's the whole point of the movie at this point? Like, of Suicide Squad?
It's basically kind of like this team of supervillains. It's like a big squad of supervillains that are supposed to be basically like kind of like an equivalent to like a team like Justice League-ish, I guess you could say.
So the movie's just going to be about them, like, just
Well,
being...
they work. Well, I mean, it's a team brought together by the government.
Oh,
That's really interesting.
explain this more.
So there are a bunch of like high specialist people that the government takes. Like, it's a bunch of high specialist people that they have in prison,
Mm-hmm.
and it's made up of this entire team. And the government takes them all out of prison and puts them together as a key team. And they're supposed to be like a black ops mission people.
Mm.
And in return, if they do this, they get out of prison.
That's pretty sweet.
And so basically, that's kind of the gist of it. Like, they're pretty much like a task force made up of supervillains.
Huh, so they become good guys, in a way.
Not really.
No?
No, not really.
They do a lot of terrible things in it. But
sometimes you gotta break a few eggs to make an omelet.
Yeah, exactly. What's weird is I'm confused why they hired Will Smith as Deadshot.
Will Smith?
Yeah,
That's
he's
an
Deadshot.
interesting choice.
Because Deadshot is a huge character. He's a huge villain.
He's the mercenary, right?
Yeah, he's a mercenary that can like just shoot anything.
And Will Smith is a comedian. I've never really cared for Will Smith, like,
Yeah.
like after like Independence Day. I've never really cared for his acting.
No,
I'm a fan.
I like some of his acting.
I'm not a huge fan, but I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Before we go into exactly what we think the future of DC will be and how it will compare to Marvel, I think we
Mhm.
should talk about why we think they haven't been successful so far.
Okay. Um.
What are
Why
you?
wait, why DC hasn't been?
Well, yeah, at least in comparison to Marvel.
Well, I think they really rushed a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
They tried to like a lot of their things just didn't work out. Like the Superman Returns was just a failed opportunity. Like it had good potential. You had amazing actors. Like they had some of the greatest actors for that movie, but they just did not write it right. And it turned out just bad. Like that's a picture of the Suicide Squad I just sent you all, by the way.
okay.
But like literally, it just did not like their whole like concept of everything. Like the Green Lantern, just it didn't do well. Like the writing of it was just bad. Like it
I
was
never saw
them.
it.
It was all based off of them of just rushing because they knew they were like, oh my god, we got to get things together. Fucking Marvel's over here like starting up and they're getting all their characters and
Yeah,
everything.
like
We
year after year.
Yeah,
So
they're like, oh, they have big plans, and so DC's like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? We gotta start writing fast. So they just rushed everything, and that's their biggest problem is they just rushed it and threw it out to the wolves. They didn't even like barely like work on it very hard,
right.
which they learned from. They were like, okay, we need to start doing something because this is not working out, and so that's when they started planning like their entire future out. They're like, all right, we need to slow down. Let's work on a few things. Marvel can just have it for now, and we need to like build up stuff. And that's why you're starting to see like all these DC things that are coming out. It's just years of work.
I think that's a good point because yeah, we've seen that they're capable of doing good. Like the Batman trilogy, tell you what, was
Hmm.
all sorts of success. So if they really put their effort and time and plan it out well, they clearly can do good. They just
Well,
rush
not
things.
even that whole Batman Dark Knight series. It's never gonna be a part of like that's not canon to the DC thing.
No, yeah, I know. I'm just saying clearly their stories and characters are capable of having the
And
success
Chris
Marvel has.
and Christopher Nolan was brilliant.
Well, that too.
Because Christopher Nolan he took superheroes to a whole nother level when he made that.
He
He
really
made
did.
it almost more realistic. Like
Did
he gave
yeah.
it an entire new look.
He added a whole nother layer of depth to superhero
Okay.
movies.
Okay. But here's the thing. I think what he did, while good in some respects, is also bad in others.
Like what?
He made superhero reboots gritty.
What do you mean, like gritty? Like
He,
bad gritty?
like dark and brooding and like he made that trend affected him in Superman.
I get what
Well,
you're saying.
well, you also got to look at it like this. Marvel is a lot more light and kind of more comical. Where when you watch like the difference between Marvel and DC is that Marvel's a lot more light and comical and more toward a kid kind of a thing. I wouldn't say like it's for kids,
Hmm.
but whereas DC is very dark. Like the whole DC universe is a very dark thing. Like look at the trailer, that's so dark. And if you look at a lot of the comics of DC,
Hmm.
they're very, very dark. It's a very dark, like their DC universe is very dark, and it's supposed to be that way. Like it's supposed to be a lot darker than like Marvel. Like
Yeah.
when we see this Justice League movie, it's gonna be very dark and not very like lighthearted as Marvel is.
Hmm.
Which I have nothing against Marvel's lightheartedness. I think they do it really well. The reason that Marvel did work out, the reason that the Avengers did work, was that Josh Whedon is an insanely brilliant director, first off. And he was smart because you would have these large action scenes,
Hmm.
and it's not focusing in. We're not just like trying to shoot back and forth between all these characters. We're not trying to like, oh my god, here, 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 here. We got something with Iron Man, a little bit with another character. Then we have a joke.
Hmm.
Everybody laughs, and then we get serious again.
Yeah.
We have another joke. We all laugh, and it's pretty great. And it keeps the action so it's not overwhelming.
Right.
Right.
Inserted jokes made it so that we are not overwhelmed with all this going on. Like the whole thing when like Hulk and Thor are just standing there and Hulk just punches them. It's like a funny
Yeah.
thing. It's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's all to keep the intense action so it's not overwhelming to the audience. And that is what the Avengers did brilliant, and that's why I love Josh Whedon.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Josh Whedon is done after the third Avengers.
Oh.
He's
Ooh.
not directing them anymore.
Well, that's
That
cool.
will be super interesting to see how they. That's a huge role to step into.
Yeah, because I think Josh Whedon is brilliant, and it's
I
hard
agree.
to find the right director.
I'll tell you what. If they don't do it right after he steps down, you know what's going to happen? Nobody's going to like the movies, okay? I'm being serious. There are two camps when it comes to these superhero movies. Maybe three, but I'm going to focus on two of them. The first one is the negative diehards that hate these movies. They'll go to them anyway, but they hate them because they're nothing like the original comic books.
Yeah.
And they don't understand that it's not about recreating the comic books word for word. It's making a new arc, a whole new canon,
Right.
a whole new universe. So, like, things will be similar, but not quite the same. And then there's the other group of people that just love it because it's funny, actiony, good. They like these qualities. If the new director comes in for, any of those films after, what's his name steps down? What's his name?
Josh Whedon.
After Josh Whedon's gone, if the guy doesn't fill those shoes properly, everyone's going to hate these movies. That's my prediction. I'm pretty certain it's going to happen.
And also about like after this third Avengers, a lot of things are going to change because we're introducing the new Avengers. We're introducing the Spider-Man, the Wolverine.
Ugh.
We're introducing a lot of the like Marvel characters themselves.
Yeah. That changes a ton.
Speaking of Wolverine, Hugh Jackman said he's only doing 2 more Wolverine movies and he's done. So he's not going to be the Avengers Wolverine.
That's also extremely huge. I can't even picture someone other than Hugh Jackman.
Yeah,
Right.
that's kind of... I've never even seen Wolverine or the X-Men, but I still imagine it's Hugh Jackman.
Well, Hugh Jackman originally wasn't Wolverine. Like he was like they casted a Wolverine and then they didn't like him, and so then they like went to Hugh Jackman. But yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing about superheroes movies, though. They are doomed to never have the same actor play that same character for long.
True.
Yeah.
Because with a comic book, you can draw that out forever. With an anime, you can draw it out forever. With any cartoon, you can draw it out forever as long as the voice actor is there.
Yeah.
But with actual actors needing to be on set with makeup, with dialogue and lines memorized, in costume, doing multiple takes of time, that will get overwhelming and it will get dull and old very quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. I have not seen Ultron, so don't spoil it, Daniel. You're doing a good job of that. So, but I got this thing about that I gotta say, and next week I'll come back and say if I was right or wrong. But I don't. No, let me start that over. I remember reading that Robert Downey Jr. was absolutely done being Iron Man after whenever, very soon. He just wants to quit. That's all I remember about whatever I read like a couple months ago or whatever. I have a feeling Iron Man will die in Ultron. I'm not joking. I think he'll die.
Well, here's the thing. I mean,
are you gonna replace Junior? Are you gonna replace that guy? No.
Well, I don't know. I feel like Iron Man is the most successful Avenger out of everyone they have to work with. It's not like they would want to throw that away.
Robert Downey Jr. owns 1% of the Avengers. He gets like a lot of the money.
Yeah.
He gets more money than anybody out of that entire movie.
Yeah.
Plus, I would so if I never saw Ultron, if I never saw Ultron, saying if I were to hear that Robert Downey Jr. Was wanting to quit, I wouldn't let him. I would say he would probably finish out the third one, and they would kill him out in Thanos series, the Thanos part, because it's more likely for him to die there. And I remember, I forget, I think someone takes up Tony Stark's legend and becomes Iron Man.
Hmm.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I could see.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't like a future without Robert at all. I don't
Me
like.
neither. Me neither.
Yeah, and I mean,
I feel like I've heard him say before though that he wanted to quit, and it just hasn't happened. I think
yeah,
I think he literally just needs to be persuaded with more money. It might come a point where that's not enough for him anymore, but I think that's all it really is.
I mean, there's not much to do about it, I mean, you can't really just.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Was there anything else we had in mind to discuss? Because I don't have
Yeah.
anything else.
How are you? Because I agree that DC is going to have a huge like boom in quality movies and like a defined more universe and more characters and all that. But I really have a hard time seeing them catching up with Marvel. How exactly do you
Well,
see them having that big of a success?
well, this is how I see it. We have Marvel; they're doing amazing, but they're honestly after seeing Ultron, I won't be surprised if they start dying off slowly.
Yeah,
I mean, it's sad to say that, but like, there's so much they can do, and like after Thanos, they can mess it up badly for them.
they really could. Yeah,
They can ruin everything because right now they're at the top. Like right now they are at the top, and the only way to go now is rock bottom.
Yeah, I agree.
that
And
makes sense.
that may not happen till the superhero thing dies in Hollywood when people just don't want superheroes anymore.
Oh no, it'll never die. Never die. No one's sick of it yet. No
I
one.
think I think it will
No one will be sick of superhero
because
movies
I mean
ever.
Hollywood's gone through so many eras of different genres and different kind
True.
of things, and they all die off eventually.
What do you think's next?
I don't know. Probably,
Anime,
hopefully.
hopefully, right?
Yeah. If we could do worse.
I want to.
I mean,
That's actually a whole nother. I want to talk about that too after you get to the DC thing. What it's our opinions on the entire superhero thing dying out.
yeah.
Let's go on that right now.
No, I
Like-
want to hear. I want to hear Daniel's first his like overall opinions on DC.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right.
So I mean, at first I wasn't seeing much hope in DC, and I thought they're not going to make it anywhere. But from a lot of rumors going around about the Batman and Superman movie and where DC is heading, plus with the Suicide Squad, I think honestly they have a very good chance.
Okay.
And I think they honestly are gonna become huge after Batman versus Superman and the Suicide Squad, because Suicide Squad comes out in 2016 and so does Superman versus Batman. Which
Right. So they have a consistency.
Yeah, and so we are seeing. I have a very huge hope for them, and when it does come out and when everybody does love it, I just want to tell everybody I told you so.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, well, okay. Also, going back to Marvel. I do see hope in Marvel more, only because of Netflix. After watching Daredevil, Daredevil for one was the greatest show ever. I literally binged watched that in a weekend. Like, I thought it was so amazing. I thought it was like literally one of the greatest things ever. And after watching that, it was so amazing. Like, I'm like, Marvel, Netflix, like Netflix is honestly one of the greatest. They're so amazing at doing TV shows, and I thought Daredevil was amazing, which they're coming out with the second season they announced, and they're using characters from Daredevil to branch off into their new series, which is going to be almost the equivalent to Suicide Squad in a way, but more made up of heroes. And they're heroes that are involved with Daredevil.
Huh.
They're going to be introducing a lot of them through Daredevil TV show season 2, which I am dying for, and I think it's going to be amazing because honestly, right now Netflix is probably one of the greatest at making TV shows, only because they're probably most likely to be the future of TV. Anyway, so I see hope for both of them. I'm seeing that I think DC can catch up to Marvel, and I think they might be able to pull it up past them and be better than them at a certain time, but I mean it might not be for a long time, and I see a lot of hope for both series. I mean, I think we're about to see a change in superheroes in the movies for like now. Like there's about to be a big change, I think. And we're about to see something huge.
I agree. They seem to all follow a very similar structure, and I think that will.
Yeah, there's a very big structure built on superheroes, like the superhero action thing.
Yeah, and I think that either will change soon or it should change soon.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, I think then we'll run into problems.
And if it doesn't, I mean, it's honestly whoever changes first.
Right.
Is going to be probably one of the best. I mean, it's kind of a race like right now. Like honestly, like Marvel had a huge lead.
They did.
And we're seeing like a big kickstart with DC, and if they can kickstart it right, they can do so well. If DC can't do it, like if their movies fail, then DC is out of the race. They're done. They're shut down. Most likely, good chance they'll get sold. Good chance their company will be sold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Disney will buy them out.
Yeah, probably. The monopoly will grow and grow and grow.
Which Disney also confirmed that, or Universal's confirmed their Nintendo theme park, by the way.
What?
Yeah,
what the hell is that?
We could talk about that for hours and hours.
Oh, Nathan, apparently there was a confirmed Nintendo park, like it's a Nintendo park at Universal's now.
Yeah, oh boy. Don't get me started. I could write a book on my thoughts on that.
Right?
What? This is ridiculous. This is cancer.
I'll kill you, Nathan.
Good luck doing that from Seattle.
Well,
you know what? I might as well invite death at this stage if this is what humanity has done. Have we sunk this low?
No, this is the peak we're getting at. We're going. It's all uphill from here. First comes the Nintendo theme park.
No, Lucas. I'm going to send you this image over the chat. Okay, you tell me if this is a good thing.
Okay.
You can't tell me this is good. This isn't quality. This is so ridiculous.
Wait.
Are you looking at it?
Yeah, no, I am. Oh, dude, Pikachu's? That's so great.
No, it's not.
That is so great. How do you not want to ride a Pikachu like Dumbo?
I never want to.
That'd be so amazing.
That'd be so amazing.
No, it wouldn't.
That'd be twice as great as riding Dumbo.
Dumb.
I thought Dumbo was amazing.
Dumbo is amazing.
Yeah, right? And this would be even twice as good as that. Could you imagine?
No. No.
Right. I think we should have a whole nother discussion on the Nintendo theme park.
Yeah, when we get back to you, maybe, but I ain't gonna do that.
Yeah, right. I figured.
Yeah.
Nathan, that's gonna be your topic?
Oh, sweet,
No,
Nathan!
no.
I'm so
Oh, I'm so
excited.
excited now,
I'm
Nathan.
so
That's gonna be
excited.
amazing.
Next week's
No,
gonna be the
it's
best
not.
one
This is gonna be the best
No.
topic ever.
ever. Yeah.
This is the worst.
Oh, that's great. I'm
Alright.
excited.
Real quick to wrap up, we should put our thoughts on if we think the like superhero thing's gonna crash, or if like our era is gonna move on, or if it's gonna stay forever. What do you guys think?
Should I? You want? You,
I
you want
think
me to just?
you
I'll
you
be-
should
I'll be
you
the-
should go last. You should go last.
Yeah, I'll go last.
I think it will crash, but the difference is going to be when and why. I think the determining factors are going to be, does DC overtake Marvel, or does DC flop and fail? And in those two realities, if DC fails, then Marvel will fail later, and then the demise of this type of movie in the industry will just die as well. But if
That
DC
makes sense.
gets its lead, like it probably will, like we're expecting it to,
Right, then it could just
DC
create
could
like
run.
an even bigger race and
Yeah.
tension and demand for equality between them
It's
both.
basically the Cold War all over again. Do the Russians
Right.
develop nuclear weapons or don't they?
Right.
When will it end? We all know the Russians lose, but when do they lose? Do they
Right.
lose in 1949 or do they lose in 1989? One of the two. It ends someday, but it doesn't mean it ends tomorrow or next decade. That's
I think
my
that makes
two
a lot of sense. Alright, so for me, it's really, really hard. Obviously, nothing lasts forever, so it probably will die off, but some people are saying like the next 10 years, some people are saying at most 20. I'm thinking I can't even tell. It could be like 20 years, it could be 50 years. The main reason it's so hard for me to like think when.
Normally how it's set up is
The main reason I think it's so hard to like say when it will die off is because I think it really I think logically it should die off, and you think it would go that way because they're following so many similar structures and like problems, and I think people will just get tired of it.
Right.
But you could make tons of arguments about things that follow that same problem that don't die off, like Call of Duty. You would think that would just die off, but no, that just keeps growing. So I don't know. The fans could be like die hard enough, even though you would think it would die off, that it just keeps going forever, even if they don't really get better.
Yeah. That's a possibility. That's a scary, frightening one, though.
I agree. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Dan.
All right. So I mean, I think it. I mean, so I was talking with my teacher and one of my film teachers, and he says that every era there's many eras of constant like different themes going on. Like right now we're in the superhero age of films. Before we've had our crime and investigation film. We've had a lot of different eras, and so honestly, I think it will die off eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure how long it will take, depending how each series does. If DC fails, then Marvel fails, then it's gonna die off pretty quick. If DC does good and Marvel can keep up pretty well or do good, then it's gonna last pretty long. But honestly, people don't like the same thing constantly, and I mean
Exactly. Yeah.
that's why
That's what you would think.
Well, that's why you see a lot of things coming back. Like you're just seeing constant like remakes of things, but yet they're changing it. They're making each remake different. Like we're not seeing the same old remake. We're seeing different remakes.
Yeah.
And that's what people like. I mean, people are like, "Oh, it's the old thing. I remember seeing this as a kid," and then changing it up. A lot of the generation. I mean, that's also another big era coming in right now is remakes. And I honestly think it will die off, and I think it will. I'm not sure if it'll come back if it dies off.
I think it probably would. That's a good point too. I think it probably would die off, or come back, but it would be there would be a huge gap.
saying like in the big distance future, if we're all still alive and the world's still moving,
Yeah.
then yeah, it'll probably come back.
But yeah, there'd probably be a huge gap if it died off.
Mhm.
I mean, I have a lot of hope. I'm sick of superhero movies, kind of. I mean, I'm really kind of sick of them.
Yeah, me too, but I feel like I'm sick of them for different reasons.
I would never ever go work on one. I would never be the head person on a superhero set because I would hate it.
Yeah, that
And-
sounds terrible.
I mean, that's the film industry for you. If you want to, in order to make money in the film industry, you got to be doing something you don't really like to do.
Not true.
But if you want to do the things you love to do, then you're probably not going to be making any money at it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's life in a nutshell.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, superheroes. I mean, they've always been big. They've always been everything. I mean, you started out with the comics. It's pretty much like just been huge ever since they were first started. I mean, superheroes have been there since the beginning of time. You look back and you see Hercules is a superhero, basically,
Yeah.
essentially. I mean, superheroes have always been there since the beginning of time, and I think they will always continue till the end. I mean, heroes is just what the big thing of like human basis.
Yeah, I
is.
completely-
It's what we aspire to be.
Exactly.
I don't think superheroes. Yeah, superheroes. I don't think will ever die off. But as far as like the movie
Yeah,
type
mainstream
industry,
media.
yeah, that's much harder to see.
It's just someone we look up to, and I mean, you never know. I mean, superheroes could die off in the movies, but be big on TV. Like
Exactly.
That's
We're
something
seeing
that's
tons
more likely to
and-
happen.
we're seeing tons and tons of superhero TV shows. They're already coming out with a Supergirl TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane, and I mean, they're just constantly coming out with more and more, and I mean, they do pretty good. I hate the Flash. I love the Arrow. I love Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have potential.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the shows don't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon. They just seem to be growing.
Honestly, if you can get a big enough budget, I think Spider-Man should be a TV show. Honestly, because of the fact that
Nathan.
I'll make it quick, but it's because of the fact that Spider-Man, the reason they fail every time is because they start introducing too many characters, which they have to because the Spider-Man universe and the villains,
It's real
it's a
big.
huge villain base.
Yeah.
And if you introduced it as a TV show, I think it could do well because you can start putting in a lot of villains in TV shows, and like you can have a lot of characters in TV shows just because you have so much time to work with.
Yeah. And you could elaborate on his whole humanity side of things that a lot of people like him so much for. Whereas in the movies, you have to put a huge focus on the more actiony, comical part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I agree.
I'll
Don't
never
think-
watch.
I don't think they'll really. I don't think they'll do it, but I agree that it would be.
I wouldn't watch it either way.
Well, I mean, I honestly wouldn't watch it either.
What?
Dude, I don't. Well, eventually, yeah, I would. But I mean, I have a choice. I'm just gonna watch anime.
Yeah. Aye, sir.
I say, yeah, pretty much.
Oh, I gotta keep watching that.
Yeah,
It hurts.
you do.
It hurts so much.
Cheers me up every day of my life.
No, it bums me out. Each episode, I know I'm getting closer to the end.
Oh well, but not the true ending though.
No.
It will
Anyway.
live. Anyway, yeah. Oh, one last question, Daniel. So you think it's gonna like die off too, but you didn't really say when. You like didn't even give an estimate. Do you think it will be like a 10, 20-year thing? Do you think it could be like a 50-year thing?
With having the hopes and what I do now, like saying what I hope for now, like saying that DC is going to do well and Marvel is going to continue to do pretty good.
Yeah.
I think it could last another 20 years.
Okay, but you don't really see it going much farther beyond that unless something big happens with it.
No. Well, I mean, yeah, 10, 20 years is about the estimate, depending on how we move with technology.
I feel like that makes sense. It'll just be so weird because this will be like the first thing that we've lived through where we saw it firsthand how it just died off. Something this big.
Yeah.
It's almost hard to think because there's so many superhero fans who just seem die hard.
We haven't seen that yet. Our generation. It's really going to take people by surprise, though. Like, there are going to be plenty of people who will not understand what's going on.
Yeah, be like, where did it go all of a sudden?
Yeah, they'll look up one day and be like, I remember every other weekend there was a superhero movie coming out.
Yeah, sure feels like it.
Yeah, I mean, God, what are the big movies coming out this summer? It's like, it's literally just made up of superheroes all the time.
It really is.
We have the new Fantastic Four movie coming out, which is it honestly looks terrible.
Yeah.
Seeing the preview for it, I like.
Worse than
it looks way too gritty.
That's what made me afraid of. That's what kind of made me start thinking, oh God, Marvel's kind of not doing so well here.
No, they're not. They're throwing stuff out.
Honestly, Fantastic Four isn't that great of a series anyway.
Fantastic Four didn't work out in the first place either.
Plus Chris Evans can't play the Human Torch again.
I guess you could say the Fantastic Four aren't that fantastic.
Highlight of our shows, ladies and gentlemen.
And plus,
there's no ladies on the
Chris
internet.
Evans can't be. Plus, Chris Evans can't be Human Torch and.
What? Yeah. Say that again?
Plus, Chris Evans can't be the Human Torch and Captain America.
Yeah, he could.
What do you mean?
Nathan's like, I'm not convinced. Do both.
I'm not convinced, though.
You know that Chris Evans, the guy that plays Captain America, played the Human Torch in the old Fantastic Four movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I honestly didn't put that together just now. I'm blown right now.
But he could do both. That's not impossible.
Not really.
Yeah, the magic of movies.
No, I mean, it's possible, but I don't think you would. I'm pretty sure people would be like, that's the same actor who plays Captain America.
Yeah, no, I agree with Daniel. I think there's an unwritten rule where, like, you can't do that if you care about your universe.
Yeah, unless you're doing some crazy story like Cloud Atlas, where you can make each character different.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just think what I want to think. I'm not tell you guys anymore.
Okay. You know.
All right. Well, I don't have anything more to say.
I mean, I could go on forever about this stuff, but.
Oh no, we've already gone on for an hour and 7 minutes.
Perfect.
It's time to wrap it up.
I mean, yeah, I could go on too, but I feel like talked about what we mainly wanted to.
Yep.
Next week, guys, so we're going to talk about Nintendo.
No, we're not. No, we're not. No.
Great.
Dude, this is going to be so exciting, Nathan.
Like, I'm thrilled.
Well, all right, guys. Yeah, Dan, close us out. It's your show.
All right, well, this has been Daniel Vaughn and some other guys, but mainly me. I'm just kidding. It's Lucas Singer and Nathan Hayes.
Wait, it's
I'm
Singer?
supposed to say my last name.
Shut up,
Your
Lucas.
last name is Singer? I was going to guess that.
Yeah, too late.